it almost kind of feels more like medicine than just the mechanical drilling and filling that that dentistry sometimes feels like. So and it's been, I mean, a lot of information and just a lot of fun. You can really get a sense that Dr. Campbell is super passionate about his trade and his craft, what he's doing, and to me it's pretty inspiring, because he is definitely not just phoning it in. He's just really good at what he does, and he's really intense and passionate about it, which helps when you're learning kind of complex stuff. I mean, it's like deep in the weeds. This isn't just kind of surfacey things. This is very, very, I'd say, kind of complex treatment, mainly with the diet, with patients' diet, and just kind of the acidity problems that Jason's talked about. I kind of like some of the alternate solutions that he's given. I think my patients will like that a lot too. So that I'm actually, and I might even try it myself. So analysis of someone's bite, of the occlusion, really cool to see that. I think for patients it will be extremely helpful, because seeing is believing. You can tell them certain things and use big words, but that doesn't always go very far. But you show them some of this stuff, especially on a monitor right in front, that will be pretty cool.
Dr. Campbell has provided knowledge and solutions to problems that I didn't know existed, but also solutions for problems that I see on a daily basis and didn't know how to treat properly. How to treat worn dentitions, particularly abfractions and facial pain. This is new information for me. I think the principles have been around for a long time, but the technology that Dr. Campbell is familiar with has provided a predictable way to treat these patients. Yeah, I really look forward to going home and implementing this technology and these techniques and principles so that I can help patients with problems that I wasn't equipped to treat before. I would absolutely recommend this course to other dentists that are interested in complex care and solutions to the more complex cases that they would like to treat rather than refer out, or in many instances there is no one to refer to in your communities.
I've always known that he provided service and patient care that went above and beyond the regular general practice, and I wanted to kind of get exposed to that. And it's been really eye-opening and incredible. I'm celebrating my 14th year as a general dentist this year, full-time general dentist, and I learned a lot of really important clinical new skills, new ways to diagnose, and I'm really glad that I came. I've always known that he provided service and patient care that went above and beyond the regular general practice, and I wanted to kind of get exposed to that. And it's been really eye-opening and incredible. I'm celebrating my 14th year as a general dentist this year, full-time general dentist, and I learned a lot of really important clinical new skills, new ways to diagnose, and I'm really glad that I came. Really being able to see how Dr. Campbell analyzes occlusion and how he can use splint therapy to really eliminate a wide array of problems that lots of different patients come in with. Yeah, the cool thing about this particular seminar is you get actual didactic and lecture, but then right away you get to hop in with the patients and actually get some hands-on work with the patients. And a lot of times with a lot of CE courses, you get the theory and you walk away thinking that you know how to implement it into your practice, but not having touched a patient. We actually got to work with patients and touch the actual splints and watch Dr. Campbell in action with the technology that they have here in the office. Yeah, so the cool thing about this seminar is we are walking away with implementable action steps that we can immediately apply to our patient base, to our new patients, to our protocol in the office, immediately, literally Monday morning. This seminar is for any general dentist. I mean, if you do crown and bridge, if you do removable, if you do fillings, if you are seeing new patients on a daily basis, this seminar is for you, because we're always working with occlusion. And as far as I'm concerned, most of us don't get a great background in occlusion in dental school, and we carry that lack of knowledge and lack of official training in occlusion into our practices. So I think that anybody that practices general dentistry would benefit from this seminar. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun to meet some new people and to hang out with Dr. Campbell. It's been a great course. Good experience.
Well, I think he's doing something that nobody else is doing. He's connecting the problems we see every day in the mouth and have never fully understood really how to treat. I'll classically, see a patient with acid problems and identify that, send them to their physician for some medication to control the acid before we do treatment. But I've never really had any confidence at all in knowing how to help that patient myself, and then what to do with all the damage. So we've learned a lot about that. So now it's about continuing that study and finding what pieces of it, if not all of it, that we can incorporate into our own practice. I'm not the only dentist in the room that I feel like had a lot of light bulbs going off, because we've seen these problems for years and just not known what to do about it. And putting those pieces together like Dr. Campbell has and present them in a really simple, systematic way gives me a lot of belief that I can take that back and implement it right away. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any way I could go home learning what I've learned this weekend and still practice the same. It just opens your eyes to new information and it affects every diagnosis I'll make in the future related to those types of problems. And if anybody wants to challenge themselves to become a better dentist and help patients in ways that nobody is currently helping them, including their medical community, then you got to come take this course. Nobody's teaching what Dr. Campbell's teaching. Every dentist I know that has an interest in these problems and helping their patients with these problems has got to come see Dr. Campbell's course. It just will take your practice to a new level. Cutting edge dentistry. It's not just helping your patients with their teeth, it's helping your patients with their life. And these are patients, a lot of which have symptoms that they've been struggling with for years, and nobody knows how to help them. And I don't think the medical community connects the body and the teeth. Dr. Campbell's the first one I've heard put the connection together. So I'm excited to apply that knowledge. Yeah.
He started seeing the value of T-scan with presenting patients with what they have going on in their occlusion, and found that it was a valuable tool for his patients to be able to actually see their occlusion and how their occlusion correlate to all the other signs and symptoms that he's been looking at. So you can see that he kind of figured out a whole new way of not only generating revenue with this technology, but actually helping his patients feel better as a whole. Been to a lot of seminars, and he's the first person that I've actually heard correlating the acid side of the patient's problems to parafunction. So it's definitely a new way of looking at things. These are stuff that you see in your patients every day, so it becomes real-world application, gives you real-world ways that you can use T-scan and real-world ways that you can actually generate money with it. So I think he's captured something a little different this seminar than I've actually ever seen before, and I think it's really powerful. Dentists can play a bigger role in the patient's health. I think that's what you're seeing in this seminar is what he's capturing with his patients.
I've been in practice 28 years, so I definitely have patients where I've seen attrition, erosion, and things that I can fix, but I know they're just going to break again. And in the process of watching Jason's initial seminar, I realized that he had a method and a system and a way of looking at those things that could help my patients out and help me help my patients out, because the 35-year-old guy with teeth ground down to nubs and he doesn't think he's going to grind. What do I do with him in 10 years? I mean, I'm not going to be able to fix him. So I wanted to be able to actually help my patients that have more large issues and more systemic seeming problems than what I was able to do before. It turned out to be the course I hoped it was going to be and a bit more. And he's kind of gotten it down to where it's easily implementable stages and modules so that you can kind of step by step, if you want to, take it back and almost cookbook approach it so that I could go back on Monday morning and implement maybe 20 to 30% of the things that I've learned already, and then the rest of that would come from that initial implementation. And it's sort of the aha moment when I realized why that 35-year-old patient, 36-year-old patient looked like he did, and the fact that I could actually help him and keep it from ever happening again. And up until now, I knew I could fix him, but I knew he'd break it all again. And to know that I can fix him and he's going to remain healthy is a whole different, that's just clear blue sky. That's crazy different. All of a sudden, this can equip you to go, it doesn't have to be that way. We can change things and we can make it so you're not breaking crowns all the time, you're not breaking porcelain all the time, and you're not breaking teeth all the time. And that's a huge jump in a level of service that I can give to my patients. I like the fact that he goes into detail about how he talks to a patient, how he educates a patient, and then how that ties into everything else that's going on. The information's great. I'd like to implement some of this. You know, where do you start to get a handle on it and start to get into doing this kind of treatment, both from a complexity issue and from just my practice runs like this. If I put this new thing in, where do I go and how do I start to incorporate it, which then tells me how am I going to train my staff, how am I going to explain it to them so that they get on board with it and we can move the whole thing forward. He's done a real good job of teaching what's creating the problem, how do we start to get a handle on it, how do we talk to our patients about it, how do we treat it, how do we find patients that need this, how do we market it, how do we have relationships with other professionals about it. So all that's here. And I just feel like he's handing me the pieces that are missing and that I knew were missing and that I was looking for some way to figure out without having to commit to 2 years of going to one of these advanced, quote-unquote, advanced learning centers. Not that they're not advanced learning centers, just that it takes so long. It's such a commitment in time and effort.
This one's just very comprehensive. You know, kind of dives into those things that occlusion and systemic things that they don't talk about in dental school, and things that are just kind of brushed over, that are super important, but they just get swept under the rug, it seems like. Is just more of a total systemic approach, something that never really been offered before, and so it's nice to be able to see things from a totally different perspective, actually have answers to some of these things that I see day in and day out that was really just putting Band-Aids on before, and now I have real answers and solutions. Yeah, this is going to really impact my patients and my community, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely learned a lot of things that are going to be able to, you know, it's definitely going to become a profit center for my office, yeah. I expected to learn more clinically, didn't really see the application into, you know, creating a additional income stream. So yeah, it's been nice to learn that side of it. A great opportunity to kind of have a paradigm shift and really think about the practice in a whole different light. And it was super fun. And I am not getting paid for this yet. No, yeah, it was great.
So far, the hands-on stuff, you know, getting in, working, making appliances that you're gonna, you know, that way I can take it back and use it in my office. You know, it's something that I've done now, so I'm more confident in doing it in, you know, on my own in practice. Whether it be making NTI type appliance, or using different scanners or different technology. Just getting the hands-on training is really the most beneficial thing, I think. I know I can already think of a few patients that would benefit from it. That, and then in addition to that would be these the appliances that we're able to make chairside.
instantly were able to go back and use the same materials I already know I have in the office to make these appliances to help patients who are in acute pain and get them out of it immediately. So I'm excited about that. You know, every dentist whose goal is to treat their patients and help their patients out on a more comprehensive scale would want to take this course. They would benefit from it, and you know, on a financial level, but also their patients would benefit from it. They'd become the hero for their patient, and who doesn't want to be that? You know, being able to get together with these guys and have a great time, joke, and learn at the same time has also been a great experience.